Um, okay, so uh, in this realm of self-care, it's also important for us to put ourselves out there. And this quote, I think, just says it so well, by Cornel West. Justice is what love looks like in public. And so much happens in the privacy of our own little minds and hearts and in our conversations with the people that we love and that people that we feel safe with. But really kind of stepping outside of that and moving toward whatever you feel your moral center drives you to stand up for. This level of justice is truly what love looks like when it takes off all its clothes and bears itself out and naked in public. When we have to be standing up to the test, this is when it really matters. So when you feel that calling to serve justice in whatever way that shows up for you, it requires a lot of strength and it requires a lot of courage and a lot of stamina. And we can't have these things if we don't take care of ourselves. It's the classic adage of put the mask on yourself first before others. So I would love for, as in this, beginning meditation, for us to really consider, think about ways in which maybe you're falling a teeny bit apart, and maybe some coping strategies that are old ones, that are familiar ones that maybe don't serve you so well. Are they showing up at all? It could be, am I isolating, or am I, what, fill in the blank. Everybody knows what their coping mechanisms are. But try to take notice. Am I leaning toward things that make me feel comfortable but aren't necessarily the best course of action for yourself? And what can you identify self-care that really serves you to stay at your best, the most resilient self that you can be? And sometimes those coping strategies aren't always the easiest to grab, like exercise, for instance, coming to your yoga practice. Perhaps it's difficult when you're feeling overwhelmed to get your body moving, but it's good for you and it will help. So I just encourage you to kind of really pay attention to what are the coping skills that you're using, and are they the best that to serve you? And if they aren't, can you tweak things, little bits? Can you add small little gestures into your day that will serve you to be your most resilient self? So as you close your eyes now and sit up straight and tall, let's have a little contemplation about that. All right. So as you kind of come into your present moment awareness of self, just kind of take stock of the last couple of weeks or a couple of hours or a couple of days, whatever you're kind of sensing. Has there been any coping strategies that aren't serving you showing up? Have you been cranky and, short or terse with people that you normally would have a lot of patience for, or fill in the blank? There's just so many things, right? So notice, and have some compassion for yourself if you're noticing maybe not the most resilient coping strategies arriving. It's okay. This happens. And then as you pay attention and be real honest with how you are, because it's so easy to just kind of placate and deny and, kind of buck up. But really, truly, when you are sensing, how are you? What are you finding, first of all? Are you giving yourself time to just be in your emotional states and stay and not run away? And can you identify any coping strategy that will serve you well? That's something that builds your capacities, builds your resiliency, builds your capacity to show up and serve justice, this form of love out in public. And try to remember that these coping strategies that are good for you aren't always easy. and they aren't always done alone. So pay attention. Even just showing up here in our yoga kula is a part of your self-care. So recognize the support of each other. And everybody knows each other on some level in this class. We've been sharing this space together. So lean into the support around you. Then come into the breath and notice that this is a very good coping strategy as well. The simplicity of breathing well. We did a lot of this on Monday, kind of opening our bodies up for good breath. Can you have some body memory of all that spaciousness and give yourself a moment to just breathe well? Full inhale and a complete and steady exhale. So we bring our hands together. If you've identified a small action that supports your well-being, can you commit to whatever this is today? Can you add whatever this strategy is into your day today? Just release the hands and find your way onto your back. All right, so as you stretch out and lengthen your body, let's recognize that being present with yourself, sometimes it's easy to do, sometimes it's not so easy to do, but it's always a gift. So as you lie down, recognize that your practice can take any shape or form. You can follow me, you cannot follow me, you can do whatever you want as long as you're here now and staying with yourself. All right, so stretch your arms overhead and find that deep length, reaching one side of your body, reaching another side of your body. Open up. All right, and then let's cactus the arms here for a moment and just kind of assess how your shoulders are doing today. Can you easily put the backs of your hands on the ground, or maybe not so easily? Is one side of your shoulder a little tighter than the other side? So just kind of pay attention. Maybe this feels like nothing at all and your shoulders are nice and loose. Let's just breathe into this open heart. And then stretch your arms straight out to the sides like a T and reach your heart to your hands and open your hands up and feel them spread out. Okay. And then relax that and let's bring our knees into our chest. Rock a little bit, kind of swaying from side to side. All right, hang on to your knees and let's roll here. Kind of rolling in one direction 2 or 3 times. Moving the other way. And then let's open up and open your hips a third way. So expanding your knees out and bringing them back in and just feeling the edges of your hip joints. Okay. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground. Now let's feel our ankle joints. Can you also feel your knee joint with that big compression that you feel? Hugging that knee in, wiggle those toes, try to get every joint in your foot to wake up. Okay. Change sides, left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and feel that movement of your feet here. Can you identify some pleasure in simple things? You know, when we have a little bit of a stretch, is there something that you really just truly enjoy about moving your feet around? Okay. Try to focus in on the pleasure. And then stretch open the body and reach into your limbs and feel the edges of you. Maybe wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe internally and externally rotate your legs so you kind of get into those femur bones again. And then draw your knees into your chest, pick up your head, a snug little ball. Put your head back down onto the ground, arms out to the side, feet firm on the ground, and feel a sense of solidness through your feet. So interesting to me how we can do positions at all sorts of positions in the body, different poses, and we can have our focus be on such different things. So solely focus on the soles of your feet right now and notice your grounding and how quickly you can heighten your awareness of different body parts if you just put your mind there. All right, let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. Make sure, well, you don't have to make sure, but try moving your head in the opposition of your knees so you get the fullness through your spine. It's not just your pelvis moving. Okay. And then let's roll over to our right side, palms together, knees together, ankles together, right angles with your legs. And then inhale, open up, spread that left arm behind you, touch the ground, and then exhale and bring your arm back to center. Okay, once more, open up to a big twist here. And then exhale and bring your hand back. We're gonna come and stay. So reach open, twist open, turn your head. You can let your knees slide a little bit away from each other so you're not overstressing your back. Big breath here. Okay, then slide open to a star. Reach your limbs wide again. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your wrists and your ankles. Exhale, knees into your chest. Come on up. And put your head down, feet down onto the ground. Let's roll to our left side. Palms are together, knees stack, ankles stack, and let's open up. You can let your knees move apart from each other. Try to have ease through your spine. Exhale to close it back up. Again, opening big. Notice the twist. Turn your head. Coming back. One more time and we'll pause there for a moment. Just allow your body to feel the way it wants to feel in the twist so you can keep your knees stacked. You can let them slide a little bit. Just kind of sense what feels best. And then open up to a star. One more time, expand your body. Exhale, knees draw in. Let's roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. All right, as you find your way onto all fours, let's take a moment to move our spine. So cat-cows, arching and rounding the spine. Taking your time, feel your way through your vertebrae. Big breaths here. And then wag your tail or move your ribs around or sway from side to side. Any kind of movement that feels really good. Just let your body loosen and open. Okay. Walk the hands forward and stretch into a child's pose. Drop your hips down toward the heels. Maybe you want a little bit of movement, a little rocking in this pose. Maybe you want stillness. Try to get your head to rest somewhere on the floor or on your hands or wherever you want it to be. Feel that nervous system state. When your forehead is resting on something, ease arises. See if you can feel a little bit of that. Let your head rest. Let's walk the hands over to one side or the other and open up your rib cage. Enjoy the sense of space in your body. And over to the other side, feel that reaching and lengthening. Drop some weight down into your sit bones, let your neck relax. Come back to center, up onto your hands and knees. Let's rock around a little bit. Find your way to a twist, reaching that arm up, slide it under. So we've already done one twist. So notice if you have a little different sensation in this position. It's less about opening the chest and more about opening the back of the body. All right, and then inhale, arm back up in the air, and then place your hand down. Let's switch sides. Arm up, slide that arm under. Twisting to the side, breathing deeply, breathing fully. Reach that arm back up in the air again, hand high to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Curl your toes under before dog pose. Just stretch back on curled over toes so you feel the soles of your feet open up. Stretching your Achilles a little bit. And then coming back, go ahead and lift to a full dog pose. So as you come into this posture, feel your way into extension and notice your breath. Okay, so our breath is such a guiding light. It's such a guiding light. And, tending to your breathing is truly one of those daily tasks when you are feeling overwhelmed or stress. Our breath can take a beating from that. We can change our patterns to be very frozen or very choppy or fast. So let's tend to the breath and bring ourselves back into that harmonic breathing pattern that serves us well. Are you pedaling your feet? Does that feel good? Do you want to be still? Just try to pay attention. Constantly be asking yourself, what serves? What do I need in this moment? All right, go ahead and come to Uttanasana. Fold deeply, relax your neck. Feel free to shimmy or shake. Come to a halfway lift. Blocks can be helpful. Underneath your hands, if you'd like, stretch open your heart. And then exhale to melt. Fold again. Relax your neck. Okay, push off your feet. Rising up. Bring the arms to the sky, feeling that extension. Open the heart. Let's cactus open the chest. Just like we did on the ground, can you feel the sense of look to the side and make sure your wrists are right over your elbows, that they're not paving forward. Feel the back body. Okay. Reaching the arms up, grab onto the right wrist with the left hand and find a little arcing over. And then spread your shoulder blades apart as you lean forward with your arms. Grasp the other hand and stretch over to the other side. And then around the back. And then just do a small little circle here. You can hold your fists or one wrist, whatever feels good. Try to do 2 or 3 passes in each direction, stabilizing your legs and your core. This doesn't have to be a big movement. Make sure your back feels good. All right, relax. Give your hands a shake. Okay. Shrug your shoulders up and then let them down. Okay, shake, shake, shake your hands. We're going to bounce and have a little shake in the body. Maybe pick up one leg and shake. Pick up the other leg and shake. Shake your torso. Lean forward, lean back. Do whatever you want. All right, and then pause here for a moment. Take your legs a little bit wider than hip width so that you have a nice base stable underneath you. And we're going to start to twist the spine here. All right, so fluid movements, fluid breathing. Go as fast or as slow as what feels natural to you. Okay, we're just taking our spine for a ride here. Use your core. Try to feel like you're churning butter in the center of your body. So we're just kind of waking up places that might get frozen in us. All right, and then take your legs wider. We're gonna deepen this action. Okay. Deep squats, you can come up, you can come down, you can do anything you want. You can cross your arms out in front of you. But to remember that we're still kind of going left and right. You can even come down low and drag your arms. But feel that left, right, left, right. All right, and then slow this down and come to a deep, low squat. Elbows inside your knees. Ground yourself nice and low. How's your breath? All right, inhale, come on up, standing star. Reaching your limbs wide. All right, and then lower your arms down and bring yourself back to neutral on your mat. We're gonna squat like a chair, but I want you to keep your hands on your thighs, feet hip width apart. And we're just gonna press right into the tops of your thighs or wherever you wanna start. I like to start this right at the roots of my femur bones with the heels of my hands. So just press. And then press a little lower down your leg. And a little lower down your leg. And just have a few rounds of just pressing down your thighs. One more time, start at the top. And just feel the sense of grounding, the compression on your legs. And this time, slide your hands all the way down to your feet, and we'll come to a chair. And you can take your feet wider if that's more comfortable. Hands on your feet. Just feel the ground. All right, walk your hands forward. Take your feet back and come to a dog pose. Now you don't have your hands on your feet, but you have your eyes on your feet. You have your brain living in your feet. So let's feel. Drop one heel way down. See if you can touch the sole of or the heel of your foot toward the ground or even on the ground. And then switch sides. Go slow as you go back and forth, feeling the bottoms of your feet. And then find your feet, spread your toes, drop your heels. Don't worry about the heels coming all the way down, but just feel how grounded your feet and hands can be. Okay, come forward to a plank, holding yourself steady here. Let's churn the belly one more time. Navel to the right, back to center. Navel to the left, back to center. Navel to the right, back. Navel to the left. And come back. Put your knees down. Find the ground. Roll the shoulders here. Inhale. Cobra pose. The chest is big and open. Exhale. Come down. Put your finger pads on the ground. Wide out. A little bit forward of your shoulders. Inhale. Lift up. Turn your head right. Turn your gaze all the way right. Back. Down. And we'll lift up again. Turn your head all the way left, eyes all the way left, and then come back down. Okay. Lie on your belly, arms out in front of you, unless this is not good for your body, in which case, arms down at your sides. Okay. We're going to lift the right arm and the left leg, finding that cross hemisphere work. Exhale, down. Changing sides. Left arm, right leg. Exhale, down. Now, you can do this with your arms at your sides or arms overhead. We're going to lift everything up and try not to think too much, but just do left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Oppositions, arm and legs. Breathing deeply. All right. Relax. Put your head under your hands. Pick up your feet and rock your feet left and right. All right, now lower your legs down. Keep your hands under your head for a moment. Feel your body breathe. Feel through your back. Notice the changing shape of your spine, of your ribs, of your pelvis. Bring your left knee up high toward your armpit. Compress into that knee a little bit. You can lean toward it if you'd like, kind of find what feels good. Make sure your blocks are out of your way. We're going to thread the needle here. Right arm comes underneath you and flip onto or toward your back. Left arm opens up, back of the hand on the ground. Feel that twist. Now this twist gets to open our chest a lot, so notice your pectoralis muscles. Come back around again. And let's switch sides. Right knee up high. Kind of salamander yourself a little bit. Look at your knee. Press your hip down so that you're, really opening up that hip as much as you are opening your back and your side. How's your breathing? And then we'll cross left arm underneath you, right arm stretches back behind you, roll toward your back. Pay attention to how your pecs feel. Open up all those fibers and experiment. You don't have to leave your hand in the same position. You can slide it up a little bit on the ground or down a little toward your pelvis to see what feels nice. All right, roll back onto your belly. Come up onto your hands and your knees and give your spine a nice little wiggle, a nice little shake, or a circling, or a cacao-ing, or anything that's going to nurture your spine after the back bends. Okay. Drop into child's pose, walk the hands forward. Again, breathe down the back body, all the way to the tail. Come on up and find a dog pose. Let's open up the body here. Feel your feet, feel your hands, feel that extension through your legs and your ribs. And let's walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melting to fold again. Show off your feet, rising up. Bring the arms to the sky. And then let's have the hands interlaced behind you. If you can't do this well, you can use a strap behind your back to hold on to the strap instead of interlacing your hands. Open up your chest, hug your shoulder blades toward each other, and then we'll bend forward and let the arms leave the back. Open up the fronts of your shoulders. Let your neck dangle. Bend your knees a lot. Breathe all the way to your tail. Breathe all the way to your crown. And then release your arms down onto the ground. A halfway lift. Melt here again. Step your front foot back or left foot back. Come to a lunge on this side. Open up that hip flexor in the back leg. What does it feel like? All right, let's bend and straighten the knee here, feeling your way into mobility. Feeling your breath. Ground yourself. You can either put your back heel down for Vera 1, or you can leave your back heel up for crescent lunge, whatever you're in the mood for. Sometimes when I feel overwhelmed and I feel not as grounded as I want to be, putting my feet firmly down on the ground can be very helpful. Sometimes if you feel like you can't get off the ground, that you're stuck, getting a little balance of having your heel off the ground and reaching up through your spine more can be helpful. So just experiment. Try to take your poses as medicine. Anything you want to do with your arms, maybe you want to open them out to the sides or stretch your hands behind you, see what feels good. And then relax, bring your back foot forward, come to Uttanasana, fold deeply, let your back body open. A halfway lift, folding again. Stepping your other foot back, now our left is in front, coming to a lunge. Ground yourself here, open your heart. And let's bend and straighten your front knee here. Breathing deeply. Opening up your body. Opening up your breath. Ground yourself. Find your lunge. Heel down or heel up, whichever pose you're going to do. Reaching your arms to the sky. Feel the sense of earth below and sky above. Give yourself over to both spaces. Neck is soft. Have your ribs expand with your breath. Maybe a different arm position is something you want to try. There's so many choices, lots of things that you can do. And let's release your hands down. Back foot comes forward again. Fold deeply. Let's come into a chair pose. So you can put your legs together. You can put a block between your thighs. If you're needing grounding, sometimes having a block can help you give energy into your legs, to feel your legs, to know that your legs have you. All right, so experiment with how you want to do your practice. As always, your poses are your medicine. You get to decide what you need today. Big breath in, full breath out. Find that full expansion of your breathing. Notice the back bend in this pose. Reach for it. Come up onto your toes, perhaps. Bring your arms straight out to the sides. And then release and melt your feet down. Take that block out of there and let's find our way to a nice wide stance on your mat. I don't know why my mat is always moving, but it's always moving around. Okay, so nice wide legs here. Let's turn our right foot out and we're going to find our way into a triangle pose. Reach your arm up. Maybe you want to block, maybe you don't. Maybe you like putting your hand on your leg. Just find your way. Drop the shoulders and open the chest. Find that sense of ground in your legs, root into the back foot well. Is there something opening in your body that you can feel? Just notice, scan around, notice the open places. Okay, and we'll come into a reverse warrior. Reach that arm up, stretch your rib cage, and find your way to Viratu. Ground your legs, drop the shoulders. Let's feel our strength. Justice is love, vulnerable, out in public, okay? Can you let your heart feel that way? Is there a sense of justice in this pose? To me there's a sense of like fortification, open-heartedness, a sense of stoutness and courage that this pose allows for. So notice if you feel that way too. What can the pose give you? What is the medicine of this posture? Feel ready? Let's straighten up our legs. Drop your arms for a moment. Let's switch to the second side. Have a block handy if you use a block for a triangle pose. Okay. Reaching and extending through that side, bringing your hand down onto the block and kind of checking in. Are your legs where you want them to be? Is your spine where you want it to be? Okay. Are you able to open up? Breathe well. Where are the open spaces in this pose? Where's the open heart in this pose? What are you noticing? All right, let's come on up. Let's reverse the warrior so you feel that rib cage open, and then find your way into this posture. And remember, your knee bend doesn't have to be a full bend. It can be a little bit less. So just kind of find where your body needs to be. Drop your shoulders, ground your legs, be self-sustaining. To choose a place to place your body that's self-sustaining. Heart to hands. Gaze out over hands. Feel not a pride of the heart, but a stoutness of the heart lifting. Such a courageous pose, this warrior pose. Become that warrior. Grounding yourself, remember the pressure we put on our thighs earlier? Feel that level of grounding. And then straighten your leg, wide-legged stance. Come down, straight legs. Hands can be on the ground or on blocks. You choose how deep into Pasrita you want to go. Okay. And then when you come down, maybe there's an inversion that feels really good here. So can you let your head soften? Maybe a block under your head might feel nice. Turn back to the front side of your mat. Bring your feet back. The dog pose, let your legs become more neutral. And come forward into a plank. Stretch your heels back, engage your core, push the ground away. All right, come into child's pose. Let your hips drop back toward your heels. Feel that compression in your knees and in your hips. You can have your knees super close to each other or wide or anywhere that feels good. Back sliding onto your belly. Okay. Take your legs wider apart so that you feel your big toes touch the edge of your mat. Arms down at your sides. Let's lift the shoulders away from the ground. Lift your arms up. Feel your shoulder blades, your triceps, everything active. Engage your core. And then lift your chest and your legs too. Find that back body support. Hug your shoulder blades. All right, and then melt and fold. Put your hands under your head. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees. Come on up onto all fours. Move your spine around. We're going to find a pigeon pose. So take any level of support that your body needs. Right leg in front first. Of course, you can come into a different pose, reverse pigeon, or lying down with one thigh crossed over another thigh. All right, feel the expansion in your body. Maybe hands on blocks to begin so you can feel that lift. And then come down and rest here. So as much as we can have a strong warrior, we can also have a humble surrender. Okay, so notice which of those two types of energies are you looking for most for your self-care today? We need both in balance, but notice, which one you might need more of today. When you feel ready, change sides, move slowly. Maybe you like a dog pose in between, maybe you're on your back and you just switch your legs. So kind of experiment. This side is probably very different from your other side, so take your time filling in your props and getting your position right. And as you come, take a moment, maybe in the beginning, hands on blocks to feel that extension and space, that stout open heart again. And then relaxing into a deeper, more centered internal space. Let your head rest on something. Come up out of the pose. Pause for a moment, maybe sit on your prop and draw your knees to your chest and open your back up. Maybe you're on your back with your knees towards your chest, or a happy baby. Okay, so I want to give you a couple of choices. We're going to do a restorative sequence. All right, so we're all going to do Supta. Well, you can do whatever you want, but my suggestion is the second pose be Supta Baddha Konasana. The first pose, I want to prepare into a back bend. So either heart bench on the blocks, which you know how to do, or a rolled blanket. So if I'll demonstrate everything, but the rolled blanket, if you choose the rolled blanket version, we're just going to roll up one or two blankets depending on how big your blankets are, and we'll take that posture where we lie down and have a blanket. We'll do two positions, kind of like the upper rim of your shoulder blades. And then after a handful of breaths, we'll rock down a little bit and put that rolled towel or roll blanket underneath the bottom edges of your shoulder blades. So those two spots, and your arms can be out to the sides or overhead or cactus or however you want. And your knees can be bent or straight or however you want. That's the rolled towel back bend. If you're going to do heart bench, you have one block at the low height in between your shoulder blades and one block at the middle height underneath the base of your skull. Now, if you're short, you can have the block that's between your shoulder blades across your shoulder blades instead of longwise. And if you're tall, definitely have the long version. Okay, so you choose whichever posture. If you're in heart bench, same things apply with where you want your arms. They can be in any of the many positions. You can interlace your elbows or stretch your arms overhead or cactus or arms out or whatever you want. But there's just one position, okay, for your back. So choose your path. We'll all be here for a little bit and then we'll transition to Supta Baddha Konasana. So whatever you're choosing, pay attention to why you chose it. And do your best to treat your lungs, your heart space, your ribs, your spine to the gift of a back bend. So a heart opener. Passively, so you don't have to work so hard. Sometimes in heart bench, people like the blocks to be the same height. Sometimes in the rolled blanket under the spine, people want to have a low block under their head. So kind of experiment with what feels right for you. Focus on your breathing. Make your breath as deep and as full as you can manage. You're very happy, you can stay. If you're ready to change, you can, Supta Baddha Konasana can be done in many different ways. You can keep the blocks the way they were and put a blanket over the blocks, so you have a little bit more support. If you have a bolster, you can use a bolster. If you wanna lie on your back and use the blocks one underneath each knee, you can do that. You can put a blanket under each knee. Each knee, if you are short on props, you can roll a blanket like a big giant snake, like I'm doing, and take the soles of the feet together and then the blanket over top the feet and then tuck it underneath your outer hips. So experiment with how you want your props to support you. If you have pillows and you want to put them under your arms, you can do that. You can have your arms overhead like we've been experimenting with. Okay, so there's all number of positions for your arms. So choose what feels nice. They could also just be down at your sides or even interlaced over your belly, and fingers interlaced over your belly. So choose what feels good for you. Once you find comfort, and it may be elusive, you might need to adjust things, kind of change your props around, see what feels supportive. But once you do have the position you want, see what you can do to melt here. Notice your big belly breath as your body starts to settle and sink. Notice the rise and fall of your abdomen. Movement of your pelvis, movement of your chest, the surrender of your skull, your jaw. drifted away from awareness of your breath. Bring yourself back to the awareness of your body melting, opening, to the feeling of your breath deepening. Feed yourself prana. You feel ready. You may not be ready. You might be like, I'm going to stay here for 20 more minutes, and by all means, turn me off and stay for a half hour if you'd like. If you're ready to come out, let's transition towards Shavasana, but you might need a little pose in between. So as you remove all the props, come back onto your back and notice the shape of things. Do you need knees to chest, a little rocking, a happy baby, a twist, rocking plows? What do you need? Okay, so take whatever it is that your body's asking for you to settle itself and make the transition to Shavasana. Restorative poses are so needed when you feel stressed, but oftentimes we also need movement. So sometimes just having a couple of restorative poses at the end of a movement class can be enough to help you ease your nervous system after first discharging some energy from your nervous system. Other days, maybe all you can do is get on your mat and do a Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe some days you feel like you need to go sprint down the block and scream at the same time, right? So whatever your body needs, try to be intuitive and follow. Okay, let's come to rest on your back. Make sure you're warm. Warmth is a really important aspect of keeping your nervous system happy. So make sure you feel cozy. Make sure that that sense of pratyahara exists where there's not a lot of stimulation to your senses. There's no bright lights, there's no bright sounds, there's no sharp or rough edges that you're touching. Lessen your input. Do you have the support that you need? of breathing. Before you move your body, just feel your body and feel it melt into the ground one more time. Start to invite movement, however that feels for you. Whatever movements are right for your body. Actually finding your way to your side and up to your hands, or to use your hands to come to a seat. Take your time. Let's bring our palms together at our heart. And can you lift your heart into the world? Okay, so as you offer your energy, remember that this takes a lot of courage and stamina to offer your energy. It's always so important to fill your well, and let what pours over be what you offer, so that you're always refilling at the same time as offering. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.